California has gone from the Golden State into a state of lawlessness.
We're not talking about immigration. We're talking about criminality.
We are tired, we are fed up by the lawlessness of the Democratic Party.
Sanctuary cities are magnets for criminal aliens.
Santa Clarita residents voicing their strong opposition to California's sanctuary laws. The city council voted unanimously to become the first city in L.A. County to join a federal government suit against the state. Here now is Bob Kellar, Santa Clarita councilman and the city's former mayor. We put together that montage, Councilman, because it reminded me of Network, where the guy opens a window and says, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore." I mean, it's one of those breaking points that you guys seem to be at there.
Remember it well. Yes, David, you're absolutely right. And by the way, thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Well, you are the first in L.A. County. Are there other cities in L.A. County that might be going the same course?
I hope so. I certainly do. I think there's an outstanding possibility. As a matter of fact, I think it's entirely possible that this movement is going to go up and down the entire state of California.
Really? Even now, the polls have been all over the place, depending on who took it. But there was a recent poll in, of all places, UC Berkeley, which, if anybody doesn't realize, is one of the most liberal places on the planet, which showed that despite the fact that there are more people in favor of the sanctuary law, according to their poll, that about 50% of Californians want much stricter immigration laws and actually want to prevent Muslims from getting in. I mean, that's like the extreme of anti-immigration. So there does seem to be a popular upswelling going on in California that is not reflected by what the elected politicians in the state capitol are doing.
And you could not be more correct with that. I will tell you, in the city of Santa Clarita, where my constituency exists, there is no question about the numbers of people that are exasperated with what has been coming out of Sacramento in recent years, and particularly with this Senate Bill 54, which moves, as you are well aware, to take authority away from law enforcement up and down the state of California and actually put them in a capacity of violating law if they cooperate with federal law enforcement, and specifically ICE. I just can't imagine something that is more detrimental to the safety of our citizens than such an action. And yet they have done that, and it became law effective January 1 of this year.
Now, are the citizens directly are they reacting to what they have seen on the streets? That is, we have heard some anecdotal reports of criminal activity increasing because of this sanctuary law. Is that why the citizens are revolting the way they are?
Well, without question. That and more. It's also interesting because there's been a number of bills going through our legislature at the state level that have diminished what heretofore have been felonies. As we know, it is so typical in the law enforcement arena to make an arrest for a felony, and then it gets plea bargained down to a misdemeanor, and then we make the low-grade misdemeanor, and the next thing you know, we really don't have any law and order anymore, do we?
Right. Well, then it becomes, we saw the same in New York, by the way, where it turns into what we call revolving turnstile justice. Because of our subways, we call it turnstile justice. But I'm wondering if something bigger is going on in California. This has to be the last question. But every now and again, it's a very liberal state, but there is this conservative swell that happens in California against the extreme liberalism that takes place in Sacramento in the State House. And it leads to Proposition 13, which was against property taxes. It leads to electing Ronald Reagan. Are we on the cusp of a movement like that?
I think it's entirely possible, and I hope so. But as evidence to what you're talking about was our city council meeting this past Tuesday night. We had somewhere, I didn't think of an exact head count, 300 to 400 people in that showed up for that evening. And I will tell you, 130 speakers. We listened to community members come before us for 6 hours.
Wow.
And that is without precedence in our community. And it's at least a 9 or 10 to 1 ratio of people demanding an end to what has been going on in the state of California, and specifically many of the laws affecting sanctuary status.
Well, Bob Kellar, something clearly is going on in California. We want to find out what it is and follow it as best as we can. So stay close. Let's hear more from you. Come back, okay?
I would be honored. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.